Everybody, welcome to the Cow Emporium. Today's video was taken over the span of several days, so there will be little bits put together, and I almost wasn't going to share it, and then Glenn told me that he was going to share it if I didn't share it, and I'm not sure why. I just was feeling awkward about sharing a garden video, but he said, you know, you should be really proud of your garden because we've only had 3 inches of rain over the last 3 months. So he said, you know, what we have, I said, been able to do in the garden this year, I think is actually pretty good. There might be something to be said to having your garden close to your house. Ours is pretty close, but like for example, right now I'm running a weeping hose to my cucumbers. And it's got to go all this way through the garden. There are 3 long hoses to reach my cucumbers. And you can see it starts here, drip, drip, to the cucumbers. And these are the patty pan squashes. See, the new leaves are doing much better. There's still a few holes in them. And I removed a bunch of the leaves that had a lot of holes in them. They're starting to grow in there. They're so cute and delicious. Okay, so here are my cucumbers. The first bit here is the slicing cucumbers, and the second half is the pickling cucumbers, dill pickles. Chainbreaker's Garden, if you're watching, I apologize. I said I wasn't going to have a fence for my cucumbers. So I promise I'm not a garden snob, but look how they grew. They were growing straight up. So I said to Glenn, well, we should do something for them because their tendency, like this one here, they're just growing straight up. So they wanted to climb something, obviously. And mine are out in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, okay. So we put in a couple of T-posts and built this, this is extra thick baling string. And we just made this crude little fence for them. And I know it's probably not going to be tall enough, but they can crawl along the top of it too, I guess. This is still our smoky sky here. It is the same day I filmed that short about it. It was way smokier this morning. I don't think we could see the neighbors over there very easily. It does make for some beautiful sunset and sunrise pictures though. My sister-in-law is part of the garden. Look at how her taters are growing. And you can see that little bit of straw down the middle there. Reseeded some of the carrots in there. When those carrots start poking up, we'll remove that straw, push it back to the side. So that's just a little experiment. Okay, so I want to show you something. This garden box here. That's a little bit overcrowded on this end. I actually took some baler twine and I wrapped it around, or some string actually, wrapped it around. There's 4 potato plants in here, and they're fingerling potatoes. And their tops just went crazy. So this at the end of the garden here is also fingerling potatoes, and they're pretty small yet. Ooh, Glenn actually just spread some homemade compost that he made out of straw and chicken manure on there. So that's kind of a little experiment to see if it's too hot. I haven't really watered it in yet, so that's my next job. Cute. This is a cute little garden bed. Would be perfect for a town yard. Okay, back to the crowded garden. All right. So I have these beans on the side, and I had high hopes for these cattle panels, these hog panels, that something would crawl on it. And so far the only thing that's crawling on it is whatever these beans are. So they're going great guns. But the beans here on either side are not. So that was part of the reason why I pulled back those potato tops. And this garden here is pretty chill. It doesn't have a lot in it. It's got a couple of cucumbers. I mean, who knew I planted those? And some beans, some onions, and garlic. Oh, and this one here. This is the one I harvested from that day. This is just simply gorgeous, hey? Simply gorgeous. I love this garden bed. But these beans are a tad overcrowded down here. I make sure that I water them so that the ground doesn't dry out, but they're just not doing their thing. Looks like I need to come harvest some of these again. I feel like when you invite somebody into your garden, it's kind of like inviting people into your house. So I'm only going to apologize for the weeds that you see one time, and that's your only pass. Guys, we have a huge yard, and I mean, like, we work hard at it, but it's not something that we just can keep up without help. The greenhouse is looking amazing. So I'm going to do another video on this, but I just wanted to show Blessed Gardener, if you're watching, this is a store-bought marigold that I bought this year, and it was approximately the size of the ones that I planted last year. Look at these giants that are growing here. Look at the size of them compared to the store-bought ones. Just massive. And those all were sown from seed because I was a lazy bum and didn't take my marigolds out of the greenhouse last year. But when these guys do bloom, and they're getting close, I'm interested to see what their blooms are going to be. It's a celery, hey? 3 celery plants in there. I've never had luck with celery till this year. Oh, and a little sneak peek. This is this year's plant that I haven't told anybody about yet. It's gonna be blooming here pretty soon. And I'm not gonna tell you what it is quite yet. These are container cherries. Look how loaded they are with tomatoes. They're gonna be ripe really, really soon. I don't have flower beds for my flowers to grow in. I only grow them in pots. And one more pot. And we have to pass the herb garden. So I just cut off about half of the parsley here. You can see where I did some trimming there. As I needed to make room for the oregano and the thyme. Look how beautiful the basil is growing in there. And this is my one rosemary cutting that lived. I have 2 full pots of rosemary, huge pots downstairs in my basement in the window. And this here, you might recognize it, those people that like it. I can't get the stuff in my mouth, but I do love what comes from the seeds. Coriander. It's delicious. This is our last flowering pot. I need to fertilize it and deadhead it. You know, if you pick the expired flowers off, it'll produce more. And don't forget to feed it. These guys are like junkies when they come out of the greenhouse. These are the 2 garden boxes that Glenn's sister gave us out of her yard. And I really, really wanted this area, this is where the dog kennel was, to grow grapevines up over the cattle panel. Neither one of these grapes came back. So I'm using the boxes. You guys, some of you might recognize this. This is a watermelon. So I have a feeling I might have to be covering this watermelon come fall because it's only just blooming and it's July 18th. That's okay. I got the means to do that. So that's the only thing in that box. And no, I'm not having it climb on anything. It's got lots of room in there. This is a really beautiful garden box that Glenn made using some materials actually that our friend gave to us that needed to be repurposed. Glenn's been trying, guys, to grow strawberries, and we're not really sure what we're doing wrong. Like this one's got a couple of daughters running off from it now, and it looks really, really happy. Whereas this plant over here looks kind of sad. The leaves are a little bit yellow, not as green. There are some strawberries forming. So he moved the straw back away from them because he thought maybe they were too wet. if you have any suggestions on good places to grow strawberries, or if you've seen our yard and you're like, oh yeah, Nat, you should plant your strawberries like say in the end of this bed, or make them their own raised box with some, I don't know what kind of soil. Like, we've researched it and researches. The other thing we can't seem to get growing here is blueberries, which we should be able to grow some bush blueberries. So y'all see these fake strawberry rocks that we made? Glenn did a better job of his than I did. We made these fake strawberry rocks to deke out the birds so they wouldn't be eating the strawberries as they come ripe. So maybe we should put a couple back in here now that these strawberries are starting to form a little bit. And I made this very happy ladybug, very surprised eyes. So anyway, that was just fun. Here's a look at the Saskatoon row. A fairly productive little bush, this one here. So as with most berries, what happens is that the birds come in and get the darn things before they're completely ripe. So one year I thought, well, I don't like to share. So I put bird netting around this bush right here that we're looking at in particular. And if a darn robin didn't get itself trapped inside of the bird netting, so I had to rescue the darn thing when it was eating my berries. Anywho, I did let the bird go because I care. However, my berries! I would like to thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please smash that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I know if you are looking for material on cattle, don't worry. We do that all winter. And winter where we live is like 18 months of the year. It feels like it. So hang in there. And y'all who are watching for the gardening videos, thank you so much. And I appreciate learning from you. And I'm glad that you're here with me. So see y'all next time.